That is the worst feeling, when you're being eaten from the inside out. And it all starts up here. And it's like a virus. It spreads. And the second place it goes to is your heart. And it just sits there.
Don't ever change for anybody. Don't ever trade your soul. Don't even listen to him. He don't know nothing at all. Try not to get too involved, but really it's breaking my heart. How you keep changing for him. Never forget who you are. Butterfly.
Hey YouTube fam, how are y'all? This is going to be a part 2 as requested from my previous video concerning child-free life and the truths of parenting. So I'm not going to go in a certain order, but I do have a list that I wanted to follow just so I stay on subject. And I just want to talk about it more because, like I said, no one really talks about this stuff because it's a sensitive topic and a lot of people get offended. So, you know, I have to give you a disclaimer. I might offend a lot of people with what I'm going to talk about, but this is just my opinion. A lot of people agree with me, and a lot of people are hurting, and a lot of people are ignorant when it comes to becoming a parent. And, you know, I just want to shed some light on it. I'm not a parent myself. I'm also child-free, as I said before. But for people that want to parent, because I'm an advocate for children, for people that want to become parents, or people that are child-free like me, I feel like people need to really, like, talk about the truths of it, like the pros, the cons, the ugly, the great, you know, and stop just sugarcoating and romanticizing everything, because life is not sunshine and rainbows, like I always say. So if we're more honest with ourselves, if we're more honest with our experiences, the things we like, the things we don't like, then I'm pretty sure we probably wouldn't be struggling as much as we are. Now, I'm not saying life sucks. It sounds really pessimistic. There are some great things in life. But why make things hard for you and everyone around you because you're sugarcoating? Like, just be real, you know? There's nothing to lie about. So I want to start with generational curses. And this is really big because I noticed that a lot of people don't even know this is a thing. And there's people that know it's a thing, but they don't believe that it's real. It's very real. And generational curses can come in the form of illnesses, trauma, household issues, and even abuse. You know, a guy could grow up in a abusive household where his dad's alcoholic and, you know, his mom's promiscuous, you know, and he learns how to sneak around it, and, you know, he develops all these type of mental issues. And then before you know it, soon enough, he becomes a dad, and he takes all those mental issues and he dumps it onto his kids, right? Without even realizing it. And maybe at some point he might become his dad, and he might end up with a woman that's exactly like his mom because that's all he knew. And the cycle just keeps going. It keeps going. And I hate to put my parents on the spot, but the same things that they passed on to me, they were telling me that their parents passed to them. And I'm thinking to myself, if you're sitting here in so much pain and you're so miserable and things are just falling apart for you, what made you think it was cool to take that same trauma? Because you know what it feels like because you got it from your parents. Why would you take that same trauma and give it to your children? Wouldn't you want your children to not suffer like you? And then I had to realize that some of them don't even realize it. And I'm like, how do you not realize that what you're doing is wrong? And it's just people get stuck in their ways. So I learned how to heal thinking that way. I learned how to heal myself. Because deep down inside, my mom and my dad are both hurt children. And instead of healing and fixing it before bringing more children here, they decided to sit on their trauma. Because it seems in the Black community, which brings me over to number 2, trauma in therapy isn't a thing. Like, if you get therapy, you know, you're wasting money, you know, just pray about it. Or just talk it out and you'll be fine. Forgive. That's a really big one. And that part's kind of hard because, like, you can forgive these parents for hurting you, right? Or these guardians for hurting you. But that doesn't necessarily take away what they did. And a lot of parents and guardians have this really bad habit of apologizing and then doing it again. and then apologize and then doing it again. It just keeps going. It's kind of like a cycle, you know, but in their minds, hey, I can do this. This is totally cool because you're my kid. You know, it's so right if I don't apologize. I'm doing what I think is best for you. And half the time it's not best for the person. So if we all can just be real with ourselves and get some type of therapy, some type of help, and just talk, because praying isn't enough. I am religious, but I hate to throw that on top of everything. I'm still responsible for what I do. I can't go out and rob a bank and say, oh, well, gotta make a way. Like, no. If I rob a bank, me being an adult, what do you think is going to happen? I'm going to go to jail for theft, for robbery, you know, and I'm going to have to do my years. There's nothing that, you know, God can do to take me away from that consequence. I did something stupid. I have to face the consequences. There is no, well, let God handle it. You know, they always use that as an excuse. And most of the time it's an older generation. I noticed that most people that are getting help, getting therapy, or just opening up about these things are the younger generation. And that makes me have hope for like parents in the far future. Like, I don't understand the whole wanting to be a parent thing because I'm child free, but I can understand from a point of view that if I am going to bring a kid here, I want to get myself together before I do that. And there's a lot of my friends that are becoming parents and they're getting therapy, and I can't help but be proud of them because I'm like, your kid's set. You know, you're taking the first step, you know, so you don't pass that trauma you had from your uncle, your aunt, your granddad, your grandma, your dad, your whoever. You're not passing it on to this helpless child, and no child asked to be here. So why bring them here and make them suffer? Like, I don't get that. I want my child to be happy. My child's my world. Okay, you're saying all these things, but the math isn't mathing. I don't want to be that type of person. Even though I am that auntie, if I ever do change my mind and become a mom, I don't want to be that person, because there's a lot of parents that say, I don't want to become my parents. And they do just that. But I know that when I say that, I mean it. Those sleepless nights of me staying up and crying myself to sleep. Those nights where I'm in so much pain that I can't sleep. Those nights where I'm huddled up in the bed, gripping my chest because my heart feels like it's going to jump out from my rib cage. Those days where, you know, I would hold back tears. I would fight back tears because there were other things I had to deal with. I didn't have time to cry or let it out or heal. I just had to sit on my trauma and just keep it going. All those days where I always, you know, had this anxious feeling that something bad was going to happen, and it would always happen. I'm thinking about all those bad times. I do not wish that on my worst enemy. That is the worst feeling, when you're being eaten from the inside out. And it all starts up here. And it's like a virus. It spreads. And the second place it goes to is your heart. And it just sits there. I don't want any child to experience that, and I don't want them to become an adult with that same pain. And then I don't want them to grow old with that same pain still sitting there. And I truly don't want them to die with that same pain. So that's why therapy is very important, which brings me over to my third part. Ignoring mental health. Why do people ignore mental health? Why do people think this is just some imaginary thing? Why do people think that this is something that people made up? Why do people think that getting help is unnecessary? I'm not sure. I can't really answer that. I know that when I feel that something's wrong and when something's off, I try to do something about it immediately, even if it's something small. Someone made me upset about something, I have to get on that. Especially if it's small, because that small little thing you think that you're probably going to get over, it's going to blow up. It's going to keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and then you're just going to blow. So don't ignore your mental health, and stop ignoring other people's mental health. This isn't a myth. You notice that a girl isn't coming to work on time, you know, or I don't know, she's doing bad in school, or she's afraid to go around guys. Like, people don't think about that. Maybe she's doing all those things because she has social anxiety. Maybe she's depressed. You know, maybe she has these panic attacks. Like, no one talks about it. Oh, she's just being dramatic. Oh, she'll be fine. She's a kid. She's too young to be having those issues. It's not a myth. Mental health is serious. That's why generational trauma is a thing. That's why these issues in the household are a thing. If they weren't, then the world would be perfect. There would be no issues. It's more than just financial issues or physical, like something wrong with your body. It's also the mind too. And the mind controls everything. So if you're not good up here, you can't get anything done. So stop ignoring your mental health. Always put that before anything. If you don't have your mental health, bro, you can't even get out of the damn bed. You can't even shower. Basic stuff. You can't brush your teeth. You can't talk to people. You can't do anything. Hell, you'll probably go to sleep wishing that you don't open your eyes again. It's very important. And parents need to stop ignoring it. When a child comes to you, when a child, and this is just me putting myself in my parents' shoes, when my child comes to me and they're in pain, I'm jumping on that. I'm getting on that immediately. Because whatever's festering in their brain will eventually become an action. Y'all talk about people, killing themselves. Oh, it's no big deal until they kill themselves. Like, no, get on it immediately. If a child is coming to you, it's because they're helpless. They don't know what else to do. And we need to talk about that. You're stressed about something, talk to me about it. Like, what can I do to help? I want to help you. I don't want you to sit here and be in pain. I don't want that. Because I know what that's like, and it freaking sucks because that type of pain just sits there. It doesn't go anywhere. And I hate when people say, oh, it doesn't go away. If anything, it gets small, but that doesn't mean it's gone. It's still there. So there's a possibility of it getting right back big again. And that's the whole point of preventing it from happening. Now, people are prone to becoming sad or, anxious about something, but no one should be walking around traumatized for no freaking reason. It's unnecessary. Which brings me over to my fourth point, which is reparenting yourself. So you got all this stuff going on, right? And you didn't have a good parent or a good guardian, or you didn't have anybody. You have to reparent yourself, basically. It's kind of like what I'm doing now. I'm getting help. I'm listening to myself. When I don't like something, I don't ignore it. When I like something, I feed into it, right? And I try to become better at it, right? My hobbies that were ignored when I was a kid, I'm feeding into them now. I'm getting better at them. Those things I fear, I'm facing my fears because my parents didn't teach me how to do that. Standing up for myself, I didn't learn that. I didn't learn that in the household. I'm teaching myself how to do that. It's basically just doing everything for yourself that your parents didn't do, or giving yourself things that your parents didn't give you because they lacked it. Self-respect. There was no respect in your household. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe you were locked up all the time because your parents were strict. So you become an adult that's more outgoing and more passionate, or just very driven and determined. Just basically give yourself everything that your parents didn't give you because you deserve that. And if no one's going to give it to you, it's important that you give it to yourself. So there's a lot to unpack, because what I had to do, and it sounds ridiculous, I had to go down a list of things that I was supposed to have in my household, but I didn't have. Because every child is born with a list of needs. I'm not talking about clothing. I'm not talking about shelter. I'm not talking about food. I'm not talking about any of those needs. I'm talking about personal needs. A child needs to be reassured. A child needs to be encouraged. A child needs to be comforted, nurtured. Those things are very important because you can have a roof over a child's head. You can feed them. You can take them. You can do all that stuff. But if you're lacking those things that I just named, you're just raising a robot. You're raising a sociopath. You're raising a psychopath. You're raising someone that's going to go against society with their depression, with their anxiety. You're going to raise a very broken person. And then it's crazy because these things can be prevented, but people don't prevent them. So let's prevent them. Now, the fifth one's kind of sensitive for me. And this goes back into the reparenting. I don't know how to break this down. Well, basically, how your parents or your friends or everyone around you says that you owe them, like you owe them kids. I'm going to be honest with you. Like I said earlier in the video, you don't owe anyone anything because you didn't ask to be here. It was your parents' decision to be intimate with each other. to lay down. And after finding out that your mom was pregnant, she still decided to bring you here. That was her and his decision. Right? Unless something bad happened to them. But I'm not talking about that scenario. I mean, like, your parents willingly brought you here. They're alive and well. And they tell you, you owe me. After everything I've done for you, after everything I've been through with you, you owe me grandkids. Or you owe me an extended family. You don't. And if you ever decide on become a parent because you desire it. And that brings me to my next one. Dreams and desires. I desire having a dog, right? I really want a dog. I've always wanted a dog. Ever since I was a little girl, I've always wanted a dog. That's all I think about. That's all I've desired. I never pictured myself in the future having children. I always saw myself with a dog or a cat or both. But no one put a gun in my head and made me have those desires. I'm not doing those because my mom and dad said, you should get a dog and a cat. I'm not doing those things because everyone else around me has a dog and a cat. I'm not doing any of that. I'm not doing it for them, I'm doing it for me. So if you have a dream and desire, don't sit on it. But if you're going to succeed in it and you're going to excel and you want to do whatever you're going to do it because you want to do it. All right? And this brings me over to my last one. Okay, the dangers of just because. Woo! Don't ever do something just because. Oh, well, Sally did it. Well, Sally's not you. Sally's not you. You don't have Sally's lifestyle and personality, and you and her might not even have the same desires and dreams and fears and values or whatever. Don't do things just because. Like, if you become a parent just because, and let's say your kid becomes 18 and they're curious, hey, mom and dad, why'd you have me? Oh, just because. Do you know how heartbroken that child would be? Do you know how empty that would make them feel? Like, I wasn't desired. No one wanted me. They just bought me here just because. Or, I understand, you know, you have YOLO. You only live one. I understand that, like I said in my previous video. But people need to stop doing just because. That kind of goes with what I said earlier. You know, I'll do it just because God will make a way. No. It needs to be set. Now, it's not going to be perfect because life's not sunshine and rainbows, like I said. But stop doing things just because. Do it because you desire it. And that's pretty much it. I kind of went through the video pretty fast. I didn't want to, like, hold you guys hostage or make, like, this super, like, long documentary-like video. I just wanted to go down this list of things. And just think about it, you know? Let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know if you want me to make a part 3. Give me some ideas. Whatever you want to do. I love y'all. Take care and peace.